It's 4 o'clock, folks, and we're gonna call the meeting to order of the Coffee County Planning Commission. Uh, Thank all of y'all for coming. Uh, We will start with public comments. Anybody have any public comments?
Mr. Chairman, we need to state that this is August the 22nd, 2023.
Thank you for doing that, okay? We will go forward to approval of the previous minutes. Everybody's had a time to read those.
I move to approve the minutes from
I
our
have
last
a
meeting.
motion from Dennis to approve the minutes.
I second.
Randy has seconded, Randy Harrell has seconded that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We will move on to the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Ms. Carol Willis makes a motion to approve the agenda. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Sammy Anderson has seconded that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We will move to our first item on the agenda. It's the Love Lane Major Preliminary Map 102, Parcel 007.01. Do we have somebody to represent that?
Yes.
Come on up.
You can just
Point out, you want me to go around there?
you can. She's got it pulled up there for you, so you can just show what's going
Well,
on.
I'll point it out.
Should have brought a yardstick.
That'd be all right?
Yeah, we had a pointer, but it don't work
Pointer.
on this
Well,
TV.
Screen.
I may not have to get too close, but I'll get in there if I need to.
Here you want.
This is at the corner of Love Lane and Old Hillsborough Highway. And there's a house.
Would you
on-
please state your name, please?
I'm sorry. I'm Tom Orr, O-R-E. I'm a land surveyor out of Franklin County. Although I've done quite a bit of work in Coffee County. I've been active since the mid-'80s in land surveying. This is a big lot. There's one house on it. You can see that house over on the right. But there's quite a bit of room to the west of that house. The owner and developers would like to carve out 4 lots there. This is a preliminary plat, that's what you're looking at. We're not asking for final approval, we're asking for preliminary so we can get going on construction. So let's take them kind of as they come here, and I am gonna step around you, sir. This line coming down through here is the water line that feeds the residents. The public water system is a 4-inch line that comes down Love Lane and stops right up there at the northwest corner of this property. And the only thing after that is this one service line that feeds the existing house. So as it stands right now, there's not public water to these 4 lots. We have approved through the state of Tennessee construction plans for an extension of that 4-inch line. It's already been designed and approved by the state of Tennessee to extend that 4-inch line down Love Lane and then along the north line, the north margin of Old Hillsborough Highway to right over in here, and then we'll put a new tap in for the existing residents. So now all the lots would have public water. That construction hasn't started, but again, it's been it's been approved by the state of Tennessee, so we're a ways along with that part of it. There's an overhead electric line that also crosses, and we are asking Duck River to move that line to the margins of the road. We have a meeting scheduled with them. We've missed them a couple of times, but I don't see any reason to think that they won't move that. That's pretty standard. All it takes is a little money to make that happen. So I think that'll happen. And at that point, then the lots are clear. Oh, well, wait, there's a barn, an old house, really, that's in the process of being removed. It's being torn down. There's there's nothing in there except there's some wildlife living in there, that's about it. So it needs to go, and it is going. I think, working with the planning commission, I believe, and I guess we'll hear from them, but I think that all these lots meet their requirements as far as size of lots, minimum setbacks, that kind of thing. We've coordinated with them. They've been real helpful and lead me through this process. I think that may be all I've got to say.
Yeah.
What kind of questions could I answer for you?
Sewage, what about the sewage?
No sewer. Okay,
Okay.
that's a great question because I should have mentioned. Sewage disposal will be by septic tank and field lines. We've had the property soil tested by a soil scientist. Andy Gallagher, I think, is the one that did this. And I have the soil map over there. Then we'll be asking for approval through the state environmentalist for this area, Alan Charbonneau, to sign off on the final plat for each one of these lots. But the soils have been tested. Mr. Gallagher, the soil scientist, told us that he thought that all of these would be just fine. That's not his call. He can make an opinion, but it's up to Mr. Charbonneau, Alan Charbonneau, to say yes or no finally. And that'll happen between, well, if we get a preliminary approval, then somewhere before final plat approval, we would have to have his blessing. That's how that works.
I would like to make a motion to approve this based upon staff recommendations that this approval, which is preliminary as stated by Mr. Orr, would be contingent upon final septic permits being issued for these lots. And at that time, we would address final plat
Correct.
approval, correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Right.
And you might as well, I'm gonna add something there. The water line has to be installed. So we have plans, state approved plans for that extension, but the construction hasn't been done yet. So another thing that has to happen before we get final approval, because one of the sign-off blocks is for the water person, to the utility person. He won't sign it until water's in place. So there's two things that really need to happen.
Well, I think the water would have to be done first
Right.
because I think the lots are too small for a septic system to ever be approved if it does not have public water.
That's about it. It'd be 2
So-
acres. But
so-
that's- what he's talking about is gonna come along with the construction plans, which after this approval, then they'll submit the construction plans to us.
Yeah,
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Just get in there that we're gonna get the water line installed before you see the final plat.
Okay, I have a motion on the table from Mr. Hunt. Do I have a second?
I second.
Mr. Harrell seconds. Is there any more discussion, any more questions?
4-inch lines instead
Well,
of, is
I don't
that
like
all?
4-inch lines either,
Yeah.
but it's a 4-inch line's feeding
For-
that.
you're right.
So it wouldn't
You
do you
couldn't
much
do a
good to put a
6-inch,
6-inch line
right,
in. So,
Right, okay,
that's a problem we have in the county, and it's
right.
gonna take a long time to correct it if we ever do.
I would like to make a statement, FYI, this is property belonged to the late Joe Robertson and his wife Mary,
yeah.
which were great neighbors. He served as a Tennessee state trooper, and he was a great guy. So I think maybe he would be proud something good's happening with his property.
I'm sure he would.
Right.
All right, I have a motion and a second. No more discussion. All those in favor of approval contingent upon TDEC approval, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That's passed. Thank you very much, Mr. Orr.
Thanks.
We're gonna move on to the site plan review for 135 Lord's Landing, map 137, parcel 018.01. Oh, God, it's
Scott.
Scott St.
Scott.
John.
Yeah.
Touched.
Randy, you wanna scoot around here where you can see? Can you see, Paul?
While Ms. Binkley's setting up some displays here, and we have Chris Vaughn, contractor, here on Blue Monarch. So I know y'all are all probably familiar with the facility and the good that it does for the community, and we are here on a building, on a new building for Blue Monarch. That will be on the same parcel as the existing residential unit that y'all approved a couple years ago, that on the site plan shows up kind of in the upper left of what's on your screen there. And then just off of that, the north, I'm going to use this board to maybe point with for a minute. So the new facility is proposed here. Coming into the existing facility, you have housing, the administrative office, additional housing here, and then some houses, some residents for staff. And Susan, you jump in there if I'm forgetting anything, but this is the area currently that's proposed new. So all of this is existing. There's a parcel line that's just off the screen that we, just need to all be aware of, that divides the original property from the current property, but the usage currently does spill over. There is construction, there is housing that's on this parcel here. So, we, from a usage standpoint, we'll talk about this a little bit. We're, considering and asking that this be grandfathered for the usage of the new facility. So, this new facility is proposed to be their business office, so much of the activities that are going on in the business office now here will be moved up to the new larger facility. And Ms. Susan has some pictures that will show a little bit better what's proposed, floor plans and elevations of the building, so I'll turn it over to you, Susan, to talk
Okay.
through that.
Well, this is one of the things that we really wanted to do is make it look kind of like a barn, so it fits within the community well. And then, so this is one end where actually, this shows that it's an event space, but 364 days out of the year, it would have 30-plus kids running around. So it's a multi-purpose space, and one of the things that we have really focused on the last few years, especially since quarantine, we have seen an incredible increase in child trauma. And so we have strengthened our children's program. So a whole lot of what we're doing now is to meet those needs. On the other end of this building is a chapel, and then also rooms for offices, classes that we would just teach the ladies during the day, and then also have for children activities. So the way this has worked is that the most program-related activities would be on the bottom floor. We have a place to process our donated items. Here's the chapel. And then upstairs would be more administrative office space.
And they are very crowded because
Yes.
I've been there.
Well, she's one of our tutors who has to meet on the front porch with all the chaos going around her. So yeah, we have absolutely outgrown our space, and one of the things that I guess that our staff lives with constantly is that we have a waiting list on any given day of over 200 families. And so we have people reaching out to us from all over the place, and then we have also, one of the things that we're proud to provide for Coffee County is that we have really become a place where people all over the country come to try to learn how we do what we do, because we do it so well. So we have even been approached by organizations in Canada now. And so one of the things that we're really hoping to do with this is to be able to have more space so we can not be so crowded and also be able to open up. Right now, we're in this house right here. We've had to use the entire house for administrative offices. And if we are able to move our offices out of bedrooms, then we could also meet a little bit more of that need as well. Because obviously at 200 families on our waiting list, we're still just barely chipping away at it. But I feel like we're doing a good job at it, and we're also impacting future generations to come, which, that's tremendous. But it might be interesting for you to know too, the state of Tennessee, we have not applied for any grants. We did it one time and it was a complete headache. And so we ended up just giving the money, just keep your money, we don't wanna do it, it's too much red tape. But they so firmly believe in what we do, they have offered a gift. So they wrote $100,000 into the state budget this year specifically to help us with the cost of this building. So it's, I think that's a great indication of how they have really recognized the success of what we're doing and the impact that it has on the state. Because the last time, I guess when we did this building right here, and we're working with the state fire marshal, we did our homework to figure out what we had saved the state of Tennessee, and of course now that's been a couple of years ago, and that was 34 million. And so actually, the last time I saw anybody here was in 2011, and at that point we had saved Coffee County over 700,000, and we did the math today, and what was a little over 5 million is what we've saved Coffee County by taking women out of jail and children out of foster care. So we're proud of where we are. This is our 20th year, and so it's a significant year for us, and we just feel like we're at a place where it doesn't make any sense to just sit still and not be able to serve better and do more.
Audience. We want the live viewers to be able to see these.
That's true.
They're beautiful, yes. All the buildings are great. It's wonderful.
Out towards Pelham, down in Pelham.
Yeah, I can walk there. It's that close to my house.
But she doesn't.
Kind of jumping back to the, we'll let Chris hold up that last one. Jumping back to the site plan, just a few things to note. We've worked closely related to this building will be sprinklered. There will be a fire tank and fire pump that will be situated, and it's shown on the site utility plans. And working with the fire sprinkler company, these have already gone to the state fire marshal's office. We've got some preliminary comments out of the state, but it will be fully sprinklered. The building height, Kurt, I confirmed today, I've got an email in hand with the architect that we were 1'4" over the height limitation of 35 feet. They've agreed and said we can pull that down easily. So they're stating that in this email here that the 35 feet maximum will be in. So got that. And then going on to the item of discussion, area at the rear is the soils area. So it's been mapped, and we will be installing a septic system, a large capacity septic system for the area there. We're working on that design now, and that will be forwarded on to the state fire marshal's office, and that be approved as a part of the full design set. So that is coming. Kurt, I know you noted on the recommendation there, subject to TDEC approvals. I think you're probably referring to the septic system there.
That's right.
The parking is a strange animal, and I know we need to, Kurt and I have talked at length on parking. We've, in your zoning ordinance, the parking standards there outline a method of calculating based on the usage, based on assembly, business office, seated assembly, non-seated assembly. And we've listed that on the site plan, and it comes out to a very large number, and that's 409 parking spaces that are shown on there. Kurt came back to me today and said, hey, yes, there's a section in the ordinance that, allows y'all to consider the actual need of the facility. What are their needs from a parking
Copy
standpoint?
of it here.
Got that? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. And so,
Reference to go to it.
from a day-to-day parking, Ms. Binkley has told me to enlarge the 18 spaces that we initially had on here to 30 spaces on the frontage that will handle their employees plus their vans that they have that they need to park in this area. And so at the front of the building, we have parking shown, and that will enlarge at least to 30 spaces. But then they do have, a couple times a year, they have some graduations, they have some events that is what this facility is being constructed for, an assembly area for an event center. And so a couple times a year, they have, is it 50 to 75 parking roughly that would be needed for those graduation exercises and some ceremonies. And so they do have additional parking that they're freeing up by moving the business offices up to this facility, and they'll be utilizing that existing parking. So, they know in that 50 to 75, which they've done for years, they can park around the facility in different places. It's the large fundraiser event that they have once a year that is where it's a big number, and will it approach 400 spaces? I assume not, but it's still a big number.
Got a lot of grass out there.
Yeah.
What is the
Park there
number,
before.
excuse me, I'm sorry, did you,
No,
what is the actual number when you calculate by our standards? I can't read that.
409.
How much?
409.
409 parking spots. Okay, tell us, how many parking spots do you think you need?
Yes, so that's back to what I was discussing. We feel like the 30 spaces at the entrance there that is regular day-to-day, that will also serve during these 2 times a year graduation exercises. It will serve that area plus the existing parking areas that they have across the site. But, to be transparent, during that big once-a-year fundraiser, that there may be 200 cars, it's just not feasible for them to construct parking for that. So we're asking that you consider that.
How many
large.
parking spaces do you actually need?
So 50 is the number that we are.
Can you
saying.
accommodate 50 easily in this site plan?
Yes.
Easily? I make a motion to approve this with 50 parking spots and contingent upon TDEC approval.
Tell me when I can ask for clarification.
Sir?
Can I ask for clarification on the?
Sure.
number? So
Yes.
what's being asked for is, that we are asking for is 30 on the front, and then utilizing 20 that they have existing. So we're asking for 30 as shown on the.
Thank you for the clarification. I amend my motion. I move to approve this site plan with 30 new parking spots contingent upon TDEC approval of the septic system.
So I have a motion from Dennis, and you want to repeat that one more time?
Make a motion to approve this. This is preliminary, correct?
That's correct.
This
This
is-
is the site plan.
Okay.
This is it.
They won't have to come back. Okay. I want to be sure that's not in my motion. I make a motion to approve this site plan as presented with 30 additional parking spaces contingent upon TDEC approval of the septic system. Did I get it?
and I second.
And I have a motion from Dennis, second from Ms. Carol Willis. Any other discussion? And we have the ability to do that, by the way. You guys all read that. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Thank y'all for being here.
thank you very much.
Very much, appreciate it.
Do we have any other? Kurt? Cindy? Any other? Anybody on the committee? Any other?
I move to adjourn.
I was gonna ask that question. That boy, Dennis. I have a motion to adjourn. Have a second?
Second.
Ms. Carroll seconds.
Aye.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
gotta
thought we
vote
weren't
on
supposed to
that.
joke around on this thing.
Now we got to turn off. Turn off.
There's no doubt. Yeah, are we off?
Yeah.